Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this episode of 5 Room Dungeons. Today we'll be delving into an ancient Dwarven outpost, long hidden by time and the elements, which can be the springboard for a chilling Underdark campaign or adventure arc. Here's what you'll need to get started with this dungeon. This outpost should be located in a hilly or mountainous region in your campaign world. It has been abandoned for quite some time, so it's assumed that there are no active Dwarven settlements in the immediate area. This particular dungeon is suited to a party of second-level characters. While traveling along the foothills of the region, the party hears a rock slide, followed by muffled shouts for help. Investigating the disturbance leads to a collapsed cave entrance with an old hermit trapped inside. Attempting to dislodge the fallen rocks by hand is difficult, but possible. 3 successful DC 20 strength checks are enough to reopen the mouth of the cave. However, a result of 10 or lower causes the PC to pull a muscle, resulting in 1d4 damage, a speed reduction of 10 feet for the next hour, and additional strength checks made at disadvantage for the same duration. Using tools such as a quarterstaff or 10-foot pole as a lever reduces the difficulty of the checks to 15, but a result of 5 or lower destroys the item used. It is also possible to scour the nearby area for tools, as it is the site of a forgotten battle. Searching the old battlefield requires a successful DC 15 perception check to locate the necessary supplies, such as a solid wooden board from an old wagon or damaged siege weapon. All party members can attempt the check, but if 3 or more fail, they are attacked by a group of 5 skeletons, fallen warriors that rise from the cursed ground. Once the party has scavenged the necessary tools, they can successfully clear the rocks from the entrance without any further checks. Free at last, the old man identifies himself as Burrick, a local fortune teller. He explains that he had a vision of a gateway into an ancient Dwarven kingdom locked away for centuries. The old entrances have been buried since the fall of that empire, but one has reopened here in this cave. A recent earthquake cracked the back of the cavern, leaving a passage straight into one of the old Dwarven outposts. Burrick is eager to learn about the ancient dwarves, but is fearful of doing so alone and asks the PCs for help, promising them great riches from the long-lost Dwarven vaults. The crack in the back of the cave is cramped, just big enough to squeeze through one by one. But Burrick's vision proves true as the party reaches a wall of carved stone split by the quake. Beyond is a small maze lit by rolling balls of flame. The original entrance to the maze is to the right, yet filled with crumbling rocks and debris. Upon seeing the flaming spheres, Burrick loses his nerve, shying away from the makeshift entrance to the outpost. While eager to learn more about the wonders of the ancient Dwarven people, the risk is simply too great for him. He apologizes to the party for his cowardice, but insists that he is unable to continue. Should the group press on without him, he wishes them well, and only asks that they return to see him should they find any relics of the ancient dwarves that would shed some light on their lost culture. This flaming sphere maze is the first obstacle the party must pass within the Dwarven outpost. Each of the 4 spheres follow a specific pattern. To move through the maze, the party can travel as a group, moving 2 spaces on the battle grid per turn, after which each of the spheres moves. If one of the spheres comes in contact with the party, each PC must make a DC 12 dexterity save, taking 2d6 fire damage on a failed save and half that on a successful one. The party can attempt to determine the pattern of the spheres by studying them before entering the maze. An investigation check is required, with higher results leading to more recognized patterns. Along the top edge of the maze walls is a repeated phrase written in ancient Dwarven script. If the party pauses in the maze for one turn, they can attempt to decipher the writing with a DC 15 history check. If the person translating the script speaks Dwarf, they get advantage on the check. It says, "All friends of the Dwarven people are welcome in our home." This can aid the party later in the dungeon. Beyond the maze is a doorway leading out to a pit that stretches down into darkness. A bridge once spanned this pit, but it is now shattered and useless. Towering statues of ancient Dwarven warriors stand on either side of the maze exit, with 2 identical statues resting on the opposite side of the pit, adjacent to a set of closed doors leading deeper into the outpost. Jumping across the gap requires a DC 15 athletics check, but clever PCs can tie a rope to one of the statues before making the jump and then secure it to another statue on the opposite side. From there, the rest of the party can cross the broken bridge with successful DC 8 acrobatics checks. Should a player fail a skill check to cross, allow them a saving throw using the same ability and DC. Strength for jumping across, dexterity for crossing with a rope. If this check also fails, allow other members of the party a chance to grab hold of the falling PC before they plummet, using a DC 12 strength check or other creative measures they might devise, pulling them to safety. If this check also fails, the PC drops into the darkness below. The party member's fall is broken by a deep pool nearly 100 feet below the bridge, dealing only 1d6 damage from the fall. This pit is roughly 60 feet wide at the bottom, with steep, natural stone walls leading back up to the shattered bridge above, angled inward and nearly impossible to climb. A narrow stone shore along one side is covered in clusters of mushrooms. Climbing onto the shore damages these mushrooms, releasing spores that can put the PC to sleep on a failed DC 13 Constitution save, lasting an hour. Success renders the PC immune to the sleep effect for the next 24 hours. Elves and other characters immune to sleep effects are also immune to these spores. If the party has no way of reaching a PC that has tumbled into the pit, the treasure in the final room can assist them. On the opposite side of the bridge, a pair of heavy wooden doors have remained closed for centuries, but can be opened with some effort. Beyond the doorway is a large room filled with stone monks, emptied chests, and tarnished chamber pots. Along one side of the room is an armor rack holding a shimmering mithril chain shirt in between two freestanding suits of rusty dwarven plate armor. Once the party members enter the room, the two suits of dwarven armor animate and attack. Should the PCs remember the message from the Flaming Sphere maze and state, "We are friends," or anything similar, in Dwarvish, the animated armor stop attacking and return to their pedestals. The mithril armor is unenchanted and can be freely taken without disturbing these magical guardians any further. Although old and dusty, the monks in this room give the party an opportunity to take a rest. Another pair of sturdy wooden doors lead to the final room of the outpost. Once a modest treasure vault for the dwarves who resided here, this chamber was emptied long ago. Now, 4 stoic dwarven statues stare down at a leather bag lying on the floor. This is a bag of holding left behind by a former scholar at the outpost, in the hopes of preserving the history of his people for future generations. Inside is a note penned by the scholar, along with a tome on dwarven history, both written in ancient Dwarvish, and a small collection of treasures. A cloak of protection, a 120-foot rope of climbing, 2 potions of greater healing, a deep purple amethyst gemstone worth 100 gold pieces, and 50 ancient dwarven platinum pieces. Aside from being twice the normal length and weight, the rope of climbing is identical to the one described in the Dungeon Master's Guide. The note and tome can both be read with a DC 15 history check, with advantage if the reader speaks dwarf. The scholar offers the following message. Dear friend, our empire is fallen. The dwarves are leaving these underlands in search of a safe new home. I pray to the gods we find one. I give you these small treasures and a book detailing the history of our people, that our legacy might not be forgotten. Peace and good journey to you and yours. At the back of the vault is an oversized trapdoor. Below is a spiral stone staircase leading into darkness. What lies beyond is up to you. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Next week I'll have another DM Tips episode with New Encounter Types Part 2 that will include 11 examples of challenge, contest, and scenario encounters. After that, we'll be getting tropical with a coastal 5-room dungeon in Demon Cove,